But I have two different, I would say my difference from other career coaches, the closest I have, is that one is this thing I'm telling you about. If they are not open for the personal transformation, to reconnect with themselves, I won't be able to be their coach because I will try to learn about them, how they were successful before, which are their achievements, and how are they planning to move forward. And the other would be that I walk with them through success, on up to success. I don't only coach and then let go. I coach until they get hired.
Welcome to Career Coaching Secrets, the podcast where we talk with successful career coaches on how they built their success and the hard lessons they learned along the way. My name is Davis Nguyen, and I'm the founder of Purple Circle, where we help career coaches scale their business to $100,000 years, $100,000 months, and even $100,000 weeks. Before Purple Circle, I've grown several 7- and 8-figure career coaching businesses myself, and have been a consultant at 2 career coaching businesses that are doing over $100 million each. Whether you're an established coach or building your practice for the first time, you'll discover the secrets to elevating your coaching business.
Welcome to Career Coaching Secrets Podcast. I'm Kevin, and today we're joined by Itzel Orozco. She is the founder of Stellum Pro. Been a coach for 6 years. Welcome to the show, Itzel.
Thank you very much for having me, Kevin.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. You know, one of the things I always like to ask our guests is the origin story, because you could have been a lot of things. You could have been, I don't know, horseback rider. You could have been a teacher. You could have been a lot of different things. Out of all the things you decided on career coaching. And so my question to you is like, what made you want to become a coach and turn it into a business?
Okay. So I'm a psychologist, and
Okay.
I was working in the HR department for almost 20 years. And after a very big personal crisis, when I had to rethink about what was I doing, if I wanted to be doing the same thing I was doing for the last 20, I decided to move. And making a move was mainly motivated by my personal needs, my drive, which is helping the transformation of others. But for that, I needed to transform myself first. So I ran a very large movement of personal transformation myself, and then I was ready to coach. So that was the main reason I decided I know this is the way I want to impact. But yeah, it was motivated by a very heavy personal change.
Because you were going through a huge transition in your life, coaching was very impactful for your life. And so you want to spread that gift to others. Now, there's so many different types of coaches out there. And so
yeah, my transformation was in almost every single part of our human life. It was personal. It was of my impact in the world, of my spiritual side, of my health side, everywhere. But when I decided to become a career coach, it was because two main things. I was involved in the career stuff because I was in talent attraction for a long time. I was head of a department of talent attraction, and I felt it really fit me. That was the first. But the second one was that when I was in my personal transition, I found out that for me to get the job I was looking for, to be impactful for others, it must be through my personal rediscovery, personal, it's a reconnection. So I found out that personal transformation was for me one of the basics to start a career coaching way of work. So those were the two main things. And now my career coach, it's built on those. For me to have a client in career coaching, they must be open to transform personally, not only in their jobs.
It's like, well, how do you decide who to help too? And so let's talk about the marketing. Like, who is your kind of like ideal client, and how do people usually find you? I would love to hear about that.
Sure. My main client is those from director levels and above, executive levels mainly. And I have a big reason. When they start looking for a job, it's very common. They are coming from not looking for a job in a very long time. They lost their jobs or they were cut off because of other reasons they don't really understand sometimes. So this standpoint from I am maybe over 40 and I don't know what to do, where to start, how to get involved, how to be seen. I am really lost and I feel really strong in accompanying them, walking the journey with them through the personal and the job hunting journey. So those are my main type of clients. So I'm sorry, just finishing that question.
Yes.
My way to get them is through LinkedIn mainly, of course. And to be honest, I have lots of recommendations. It might be almost 50-50% LinkedIn and recommendations.
Wow. So 50% comes from referrals, it sounds like. And then the other 50 comes from LinkedIn, like through your posts, or like are you using Sales Navigator? Like what does your LinkedIn strategy look like?
Yeah, I'm doing two different kind of ways. The first one is through marketing campaigns. I'm using those, and the others it's the content posting in the Stellum Pro page. Those are the two, and the ways are very different. I feel mostly attracted to the campaigns because for me, if I cannot have metrics, I cannot improve it. So I really need to see the numbers of what we're doing very well and what we need to change. Yes, those are the two ways.
Okay. And so this is the exciting part. I'm sure as you're outreaching to people, as you're posting content, as you are getting these referrals, I'm sure people are finding out about you and just like raising their hands and they're like, Itzel, how do I work with you? Right. And so if you're comfortable sharing, I would love to hear what does a coaching engagement or your offerings kind of look like? Because I know a lot of coaches, some do one-on-one, some do groups. So there's a lot of different things, right? So what have you gravitated to?
I learned that I'm really good at explaining myself and hearing their own problematics personally. So I first have my first interaction with them individually where I hear their problems. I hear the situation and then I can address the situation specifically. But I have two different, I would say my difference from other career coaches, the closest I have, is that one is this thing I'm telling you about. If they are not open for the personal transformation, to reconnect with themselves, I won't be able to be their coach because I will try to learn about them, how they were successful before, which are their achievements, and how are they planning to move forward. And the other would be that I walk with them through success, on up to success. I don't only coach and then let go. I coach until they get hired. And in Latin America, that's not common at all because in Latin America, we have a very high unemployment rate. So it's very common to show them the tools and let them go. So I know it's a big difference for me when I show them how and then I walk the journey all the way. So those would be, I guess, my main differences.
I see. Right. When you do work with someone.
I do.
Okay.
Almost everything is one-on-one. Maybe the next step should be being into groups, but right now everything is one-on-one.
I'd love to ask you this too, because if you're doing one-on-one, from what I've kind of noticed is that it's a really intimate relationship, right? And so how do you manage your current client capacity so that your cup stays full?
Right now, I'm not yet at the top of my spaces because I let them decide when are they ready to keep moving. So every time I coach, I let them decide their next meeting. So that gives possibility to manage the agenda without any trouble. I know there will be a time and hopefully soon it's going to be full enough, and maybe I will need to have a different step. My next move, Kevin, is to try to get some of these contents into video, so they will be able to move forward without needing me close. So that will be in the plans of the next 3 to 5 months. Everything has to be done in that way so I can reach more
Mm.
clients. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm so curious too, because I mean, when we're shooting this, we're kind of at the beginning of the year, right? And so I guess where do you want this coaching business to take you in the next few years? Do you have desires to scale, to hire? Do you have secret dreams or big ambitions no one knows about? Like, I'd love to hear about that.
Sure. Yeah, the plan is that right now Stellum is in the very start, in the very start. We've been working hard for almost a year and a half, and my co-founder and I, which he's also a coach, but he's a mentality coach. So we've been working very hard for the last year in order to let Stellum Pro grow. So the next year, the target for this year is we're going to be able to have all the marketing campaigns running by themselves. First, that's the first goal. The second is to get these contents I just told you into another kind of materials, which would be newsletters and videos. And the project at the end of the year is to have the artificial intelligence involved in some parts of the process, such as when I am as a coachee, I'm learning to reconnect with my success. I need to recall all those successes I've had through my career, and
Mhm.
the AI can help me to translate and to help me remembering and maybe to
Recall.
that's right, to get all gathered in a platform.
Very cool. Man, how exciting.
Yeah, it is. We are.
You said co-founder too. So I'm so curious, what was the decision for you to have a co-founder versus go it solo? I know that's a very hotly debated topic, and so I was kind of curious what made you want to get a co-founder.
Yeah, I worked individually for the first 4 years, and uh, there's a big piece of success in learning about myself when
Mhm.
doing it by myself.
Right.
However, getting together with him has been a process of opening my mind to see the world very differently, to open to new ideas, to innovate because he's an engineer that became a coach. So he has this part of the brain I do not have developed. So it's been crazy to mix these two type of brains we both have.
Mhm.
So it was the smartest decision so far to get together.
How did you find your co-founder, by the way?
In my coaching certification program, we met there and we started working together, and we found out we were doing things very good on our sides.
Mm.
And then he asked me to be his career coach.
Mm.
And while we were experiencing together, we said, why don't we get this all done in one piece? So
Beautiful.
yeah, it was great. It was great.
Now, you mentioned that you guys have been working really hard for the last 1.5 years. And so the other thing I'm very curious about, because sometimes like on Instagram or social media, we just see the highlight reels, right? Like it's kind of like sports. We see the highlight reels of everything going really well. But I'm very curious too, like what are some of at this point in your business, what are some of the growing pains that you're just noticing right now? Is there anything that's kind of unexpected?
Maybe unexpected for me, it was that I was very optimistic and not
Mm.
realistic when I got started. I was saying I could do everything by myself. I meant everything. The plan, the whole strategy, the marketing strategy, the finance strategy. I thought that would be much easier. I wasn't realistic enough not because I couldn't, but because it was easier. If I had a plan, if I had some people coaching in all those stuff, I was not expert. So
Mm,
I guess that would be the first. And the second would be that perseverance and patience and action would be my best friends. And maybe I was not ready for anticipating all those needs from the very beginning. I had to learn through my journey.
what's been the most difficult part during the last 1.5 years for yourself?
I guess it's being by myself. I worked in a corporation for 20 years, so everything is very well done, very structured.
Mm,
And I was not ready to get a business structured at the very beginning. I had to give the plan, the form, the way I wanted to work, the methodology. So it took time. It took time for me. And
mm.
of course, it was the hardest. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And what kind of prompted? Well, I know that you kind of talked about this, that you went through your own personal transformation, but what was the decision behind going from corporate? Because you were there for a long, long time,
Yeah.
and to start a business, that's no easy feat. So, what was the decision behind that? I'm so curious. What do you feel like was missing?
Yeah, there were maybe few things, but the biggest I can say it was I understood I was not meant to belong anymore. I was
I
really
see.
grateful for what I have, really grateful, but I didn't belong anymore to these kind of systems that are already made and already structured, already built. I really needed to build mine and I had to move by myself. That was like a big request from myself from within. Didn't need to belong anymore. I needed to belong to my own project. And the second was that when I realized that coaching was my stuff, for me, Kevin, the business world is really important. It's really motivating. I love the business world, but I didn't want to belong I wanted to be part of it,
Mm,
but from a side. And being a career coach gives me that. I have the business close to me, but I have my own business. So that was my formula, really.
mm.
I hope I answered.
Yeah. Okay. We're at that point in the podcast where I would love to play a game with you.
Okay.
And I think we like to play this game through the lens of business investment, through business investments. Because as you know, coaches invest into a lot of things like you mentioned certification before, coaching, training, marketing, team members. There's a lot of things because we're business owners too, right? And so what I want to do is I'm going to give you a prompt. You tell me the first thing that comes to mind. And if there's a story, we'd love to hear the story behind it. Okay?
Okay. Good.
All right. All right. Um, first, so what is the first business investment you ever remember making?
I'm sorry, the best investment I have had?
The first business investment you ever remember making?
The one I'm doing. The one I'm
The one
doing.
you're doing?
I've never was risky enough. This is
Mm,
my first experience.
I see. What's the most recent business investment you made, like in terms of business investment purchase, I guess, financially?
My coaching certification, I would say. It led me to what I'm building and that I'm really sure this will be the impact I need to give to the world.
Okay. Best. So what is the best financial business investment you made so far and why?
Well, maybe having this co-founder working together would be my financial, because of course we're investing financially in it. Working together with someone, I guess it would be my best and my first and my biggest so far.
All right. Last one. This is a little cheeky. It's the worst. There's always like a silver lining for any investment, by the way. But what's the kind of like worst business investment that you kind of wish you got your money back from? Doesn't have to be super serious, but like something that you're like, oh man, I wish. Are there any investments like that for you?
Leadership and coaching training for 8 months. It was a program and I really didn't enjoy very much. I didn't feel it was the content I was expecting.
As you're looking at, well, you brought up a great point because these questions are meant to like make you kind of reflect, bring back some good memories, some like funny memories. And so like, I guess like as you look at your investments in the past, I guess how has your decision making process changed over the years and what to invest in? But I'm kind of curious from your.
Yeah. My mind has changed a lot on what to invest. I can say right now it's much more into the future. Maybe when I was making decisions of investments before, it was more on the pleasure on what was only motivating me, but not thinking about the future, to be honest. When I was studying for being a coach, I didn't think it would be my stuff for lots of years to come. And I make a decision for investments only if that will remain for a period of time in the future for me. It was mainly because of the instant pleasure that I received. Yeah.
Yeah. We all fall victim to it because it's like we want to focus on the stuff that we love in the business all the time. But yeah, sometimes that's not what we actually need. So it's really, really interesting.
That's right.
Cool. Itzel, how do people find you and connect with you?
Sure. Well, they can find me through LinkedIn.
Okay.
That's one of the main contacts. And I have my Linktree profile, which I can share with you as well. In Linktree, I have another podcast and I have few materials there. So yeah, they can reach me that way.
Something that really stuck with me, it's like, man, it took so much courage to kind of take the leap of faith business and development that, hey, I appreciate your work. Your work matters. And thank you just so much for sharing your time, your stories, and wisdom on this podcast today here.
Words. Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
That's it for this episode of Career Coaching Secrets. If you enjoyed this conversation, you can subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you're listening to this episode to catch future episodes. This podcast was brought to you by Purple Circle, where we help career coaches scale their business to $100,000 years, $100,000 months, or even $100,000 weeks, all without burning out and making sure that you're making the impact and having the life that you want. To learn more about our community and how we can help you, visit joinpurplecircle.com.